seems as if when you unlock it at level 100, it costs 15,000 coins to purchase it early with the Game Pass now instead of it being for free apparently. However, if you go here and then equip it, yeah, it seems as if you don't need to do it if you had it before this update. Additionally, there appears to be a new ability for the pursuit where it selects where you can select a place on the map for the pursuit to patrol around. As I said in the trailer, it doesn't look like it's stayed on near a helipad of some kind. No, it looks like it could go anywhere. Oh, and the Black Friday sale is now live. Developers, I was about to make a video on this, you know, and you release it early, really? So, interestingly with the pursuit, its placement limit has decreased from 10 to 5. So one would assume that per tower, the pursuit has gotten more powerful. But its placement cost actually hasn't increased. It's 3,000 initially before, and now it's 3,000 near here. However, the difference is the damage has increased from 5 to 6. The fire rate has actually remained the same, and the range has also remained the same. So actually, on base level, it's actually remained the same, statistically. Now, when placing down the pursuit, it looks like instead of it just being the runway that appears with it, you get the tower, the unit as well, not just the helipad, which is cool. I don't think the Ace Pilot does that, though. You can see. Cool lighting effects. Very cool indeed. Now, I assume... yeah, so you have to specify where the pursuit goes in the area that it patrols. And initially, it starts out with a single range path. As you can see here, the pursuit's just lagging here a bit. It doesn't find anything in its area, and so it doesn't move anywhere. I assume you use an ability that means that you can actually patrol it in that area. So that does mean if you were to place, I don't know, the pursuit, say, it does have a range though, so if you place it here, does that mean anything? If you was compared to say if you was place it here and then just move it over. So if you were to move it say here, does that mean anything compared to just having it here? I don't think it does. Apart from maybe if you were to give it a buff, it does seem like it shoots faster. So it doesn't seem like you need the tower in the range of the path. You could just place it all the way over here, but it can still be buffed by say, I don't know, a commander here or a DG brief here, and then it still will be affected by the damage even if you move over here. So if you have the gasoline gun and the pursuit, maybe it's a good idea to have like a setup here and just move all the stuff here, because the gasoline gun has the largest ranges here and see everything here. But then you can also have the pursuit near this part and then just move all the pursuits over here and just remove it whenever you need to. But anyway, it's at level 0. It only has flying detection, no lead. It has 8 range, 0.25 fire rate, and 6 damage. So on base statistics, that means the DPS for the pursuit is, I think, 24 now. It's probably lower boost because of the fire rate bug, but it's around 24. Hang on, the pursuit has an ammo. What is that? So yeah, once an enemy is detected in the range of the pursuit, it moves to the area. However, apparently, so the pursuit can patrol anything in the area, but it can extend outside of this range. So if an enemy walks slightly out of it, so here, the pursuit can still attack it. However, it's just patrolling range is here. So if an enemy enters the range here, then it'll be able to detect it. But I don't think it'll be able to detect an enemy if the path were to go like here and then here. The pursuit wouldn't be able to detect it unless the range, as you can see here, overlaps with it. Also, apparently, it has ammo. So yes, even though this pursuit is well out of range of this, you can see it's still getting damage buffed. You know, it's not there. So technically, this is a tower of you need to manage ranges twice over. You need to manage where its placement is, and then you need to manage where the pursuit is going to stay overhead. Now, at level 1, apparently, it gets lead detection. Its damage increases from 6 to 8, and it costs 1,200. Now, that means it has a DPS of about 32, but then again it has to reload, so it's probably closest to the original upgrade that it originally was. That upgrade was plus 3 damage, so actually it was to the same amount, so it was to 8, and then it also gets lead detection. So actually, the pursuit right now is a slightly worse a deal than before. Let's do this again. The pursuit. At level 2, the pursuit has an upgrade for 1,850. Its range increases from 8 to 9.5, and its damage increases from 8 to 10. There's also an upgrade to the patrol zone where it increases from 14 to 16. As you can see, bigger pursuit zone, bigger area where the pursuit can realistically enter, and if there's a path in the way, This compared to the level 2 upgrade before, which was for total cost of 8,550. That was for 8 damage. However, the Pursuit at this time would also have the missiles, which this one does not. So here, its DPS is about 40-ish, but previously its DPS was about 41. So I mean, it's more expensive for single damage DPS. Okay, so at level 2, sorry, for the level 3 upgrade, its fire rate decreases from 0.25 to 0.2. Its range increases from 9.5 to 10.5. Its ammo increases from 35 to 75, and its reload decreases from 3 to 2.5 seconds. And then also at this level, it gets missiles, where it has a 35 damage, explosion radius of 3, count of 2, so that's 2 missiles, burst time of 0.5, so that's the time in between the missiles, I believe, and then the cooldown of 7 seconds. Compared to previously, it's slightly similar, except that obviously it's it's more expensive to get these missiles. So I can't do quick maths in my head. So at this level, purely based on gun damage, that is around 50 DPS, while meanwhile its missile DPS is about, I would say about 5, I think. No, it's double that, so it's 10, so which is the same before. So actually, it's in terms of DPS, it's about the same-ish equivalent, but this one's more expensive. Yeah, it's $800 more expensive for slightly worse DPS, but better explosion damage, but slightly worse explosion range. The explosion range before was 4, now it's 3, and this is where things start to get a bit more complicated, because there are now 2 upgrade paths for the next level. So if you were to do the next upgrade, you can see there are actually 2 upgrades here. One is the higher, I think this is the more, which one is, so one of them is meant to be more DPS focused than single DPS focused. The other one is more area of effect. Well, I'm trying to figure out which one it is. Right, so the top one is the more single DPS mine focused, so we'll do that one first. So with the level 4 upgrade, the top path upgrade, the more DPS focused, it's going to be hard to compare necessarily with what it was before, because this one's more DPS focused. So I guess we'll start with the DPS focus. That looks about, just based on pure stats alone, that's 125 DPS. Well, also it still has its missiles, I believe. Yeah, but it increases from 2 to 4, and its cooldown is 6, which it was 4. So cost is 28,000, which is 8,000 more than level 4, and at level 4 it was about 106. So actually, it's getting a good amount of DPS. But the only problem is, I think it's a slight rebalance, not a buff. But then we get to level 5, for the top path, for the DPS focused path, and here it gets hidden detection. Its fire rate decreases from 0.8 to 0.7. Its range increases from 10.5 to 12. The damage increases from 10 to 28. The patrol zone increases from 8.5 to 21. The ammo increases from 150 to 200. Reload 2.25 to 1.75. Rev time, reload time that should be, probably. Wait, there's a rev time. Oh, rev time. Okay, so there's now a rev time, it's like the minigunner. Is now 1.5 seconds. Its explosion damage is 35. Spin rate is 4. Count is 4. Burst time 0.35 to 0.25. That's the gap between the missile shooting outs. And cooldown is 6. And as you can see, it's a bit like the OG Pursuit. Slightly like the I don't know if people remember the old model, the old model, but it was like similar like that. I can't be bothered to calculate DPS. It's probably high. 28 divided by 0.07, not including DPS. That's 400 DPS. Now I assume it's slightly low. It's going to be about 350, but then if you include DPS, missile DPS, then it's probably a lot higher. So let's say about 400 damage for the top, 400 DPS to the top path. It costs, where we're approaching the end of this game, it's 63,000. That's 20,000 more than it was previously, but it does do nearly double the DPS, so it looks like a slight buff. But then if you go to the bottom path, this one's more DPS, missile DPS. It's like 60 damage for the missiles, but then its single damage DPS is only 20. Meanwhile, its fire rate is only 0.16, which is actually higher, a lot higher than the previous one. So this is definitely more DPS focused, with 8 missiles instead of 6. Explosion range is 6 instead of 4, I think. Burst time between missiles is 0.15 instead of 0.35. Cooldown 6 to now 3.5. So it shoots missiles at a much faster rate, and explosion damage is 60 compared to the previous, which was well, I can't see now, but yes, more explosion focused, I think. Not too sure to say about the pursuit. It looks like it's gotten a rework in a sense, and the max level has been buffed in a way, but then its placement limit has decreased from 10 to 5. So it's got more specialized, and in fact it's gotten more heavily specialized. You can either specialize in single DPS or explosion DPS, and you can swap between the two. So technically speaking, you're getting 2 towers for the price of 1. But I don't know, it seems a very complicated tower to use now, except people are probably going to... Actually, I don't know. Would people actually prefer... I'd imagine what would happen if you were to use this in hardcore mode is people would probably use the missiles up until the boss wave, until it was just the Void Reaver, and then they'll sell all their pursuit towers that are on explosion and then sell them all for single damage. So technically, there are some strategies that can be used with the pursuit that involve actually selling it. So I think it's actually a good thing, but we'll have to see how people accept the pursuit. I think it's a rework. It's not a buff, nor is it a nerf. I think it's a tower that exists. But that's just my first thoughts. It probably will change in the future, but we shall see.